Good morning, sunshine, and welcome back to another episode of Shine Buzz Daily, where it's all about raising your vibration and focusing on the good feelings so that you can create the life that you want. Today we're going to talk about advocating for yourself and why it's so important for survivors of toxic relationships to be their own self-advocates. It's going to be a good one. So let's catch a Shine Buzz. Let's start off talking about exactly what self-advocacy means. What's the definition? It's all about being able to stand up for yourself, being able to talk about the things that are important to you and stand up for those things. Being your own self-advocate means being able to ask for what you want and what you need. And it means being able to say what you think and what you feel. It means speaking up for your rights, but also knowing your responsibilities. It means being comfortable making the choices and decisions that will affect your life every single day. Self-advocacy is about you choosing, you personally making the choice about how your life is going to look. It's about you personally deciding what you want and then developing a plan to make it happen. It's not about being completely independent of all help. It's about you being the one in control of how your life goes from here. It's about empowering yourself because you're the one who should be making decisions about your own life. And for a lot of us, when we go through a toxic relationship, we are taught that we don't have the right to make choices about who we are and how our life looks. And this is why it's so important for survivors to learn that they in fact can make those choices, should make those choices, and are empowered to do so. So you might need to advocate for yourself at home, maybe at work, maybe with your doctor, maybe when you go to the hospital, even when you're out shopping in the world or in groups of friends, socially, things like that. Most definitely in any type of relationship you get involved with. It's important when you find yourself feeling like you're not being listened to, when you're getting some sort of assessment from your job or your boss, anytime you have to make a complaint, like say if you go out to eat and the waitress is terrible, or say you go to a business and they fail in some way to give you the service you're paying for, or to provide a product that works, things like that. So as your own self-advocate, you must be able to stand up for yourself and say whatever it is that you really think or whatever it is that you really believe. You need to be prepared to take responsibility for your own life, and that means knowing your responsibilities, knowing your rights, and being prepared to stand up and be responsible, but also to enforce your own rights. You are the one who makes decisions about your own life, like I said, and it's your right and almost your responsibility to try to improve your life to make it the life that you want it to be. You advocate for yourself by deciding what it is you need to speak up about. So let's talk about exactly what you need to do to be your own self-advocate, shall we? First, decide what it is that you want to speak up about and then create a plan around that. Know exactly what you're going to say. And listen, my friend, if you need to stand in front of the mirror and practice it, go ahead and do that. I promise I won't tell anybody. I myself have done that on more than one occasion. If I needed to talk to someone about something that made me feel uncomfortable or made me feel nervous, I would just practice. It's a good thing to do. And then you need to speak up for yourself. And you need to recognize that you have the freedom and that you are empowered to make the best choices in your life. It's not up to anyone else. Recognize that you are the authority, you are the expert on your own life. Remember that you're the one living this life, so no one else really has the right to make choices about it but you, as long as you're over 18. If you want stuff to happen for you, you have to be able to support your goals, you have to work toward achieving those goals, and you have to ask for help when it's necessary. But ultimately, it is your decision to ask for help or not. And speaking of decisions, you're the one responsible for all of the decisions that you make from this point forward. And if there are things that you have decided that didn't work out, it's your responsibility to change those things. Fix what you can. Control what you can, not what you can't. Focus on only what you can control. It's really important that you take the time to sort of change your mindset here if you are still stuck in that survivor mindset. This is where you're not surviving anymore, you're beginning to thrive, okay? And so this is where you really want to wrap your head around the idea that you are sort of the architect of your own life, or you're sort of the captain of your own ship, so to speak. Know that you're able to fix what isn't working, and know that you're also able to choose what is or isn't working for yourself. More importantly, you're able to work toward those things that are important to you. Let's talk about asking for help. This is really difficult for some survivors. In fact, I just had someone during a live stream tell me they didn't really know how to ask for help because they were taught that it wasn't okay, it wasn't safe for them to do that. But here's the first thing I want to say. Number one, it's really important that we let go of those old beliefs, and I will put a video for you right there that covers how to do that. But know this, Asking for help, it doesn't make you powerless, it doesn't make you dependent, and it doesn't make you helpless. If we're being honest, asking for help is actually a power move, right? It recognizes the fact that you are powerful, that you can be in control. And sometimes asking for help outside of a toxic relationship, if you're still stuck in one, well, it feels impossible. But it really might be the most important thing you could do for yourself either way. But you have to be open to receiving it when you do ask for it. If you find that you are struggling with the after effects of the toxic relationship, the trauma, that sort of thing, well, it really would help you to get a supportive person in your life. Whether we're talking about a therapist or a coach or just a free support group. And you can join one of my support groups that are free right here. Check this URL. It's important to address the triggers that you have so that you are able to open yourself to being able to not only advocate for yourself, but also to ask for help. It's really important too that if you do choose to go with a counselor or a coach or a therapist, that you choose someone who is trauma-informed, who understands where you've been, someone who will provide a space for you that is safe enough that you can discuss, talk about, feel through, work through your trauma, work through the triggers, work through all of those things that are maybe slowing you down as you're going forward in creating a new life for yourself. Ultimately, whether you're self-advocating or you're just surviving, you need to be nice to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, treat yourself like someone who you love, someone who deserves to be treated with love and respect. It's very important. So many of us suffer from toxic shame and from feeling blamed and even blaming ourselves for our own abuse. Unfortunately, there's no specific time schedule here that I could say to you that everybody's recovered by this time or that time. But what I can tell you is that if you choose to start right now, or you started a week ago, or 10 days ago, or a month ago, or 6 years ago, you can move forward by learning how to not only advocate for yourself, but to be kind to yourself. If you're finding yourself struggling to stand up for yourself, if you're finding yourself struggling to feel strong enough to ask for help if you need it, this is the time when you must ask yourself this one question. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what is the best thing I could do to be kind and compassionate to myself right now in this moment? Ask yourself that question and give yourself an answer and then follow through. If you are advocating for yourself or for anyone or anything that you think really matters, try this strategy to help yourself get through it more quickly, with less pain, with less stress, and more effectively. First, go in with a positive attitude and be ready and willing to answer any questions the group of people or the person that you're talking with might have about what you're saying. Second, go in with the right mindset. Don't go in angry. Even if you have an absolute right to be angry, don't go in that way. Do your very best to stay calm and pleasant when you're delivering your request or your message of advocacy. Because if you go in and you're negative and hostile, they're definitely not going to hear you in the way you need to be heard. Think about how you would feel sitting on the other side of that table and come in a way that you would personally feel comfortable with being spoken to. Do you understand what I mean? Be sure to very clearly and specifically explain what you want, what you need, and make it unquestionable. If you need to bring them a piece of paper with a list of the items and hand it to them as you explain it to them, by all means do that. Do whatever you need to do to make it very, very clear what you're asking for and why. And then finally, don't give up. Standing up for yourself, being your own self-advocate can be absolutely exhausting sometimes, but it's worth it. And if you have to try more than once to get your message across to someone, by all means do that. Now, when it comes to surviving a narcissistic abuse type situation, whether it's a parent or a spouse or another person in your life, you have experienced things that only a certain percentage of the world has experienced. So if you are that person in that situation, give yourself a break, give yourself some compassion. Recognize that you can and you should be your own best self-advocate. So I'm going to share with you a little clip from another video where I actually talked about how to stand up for yourself as a survivor. Take a look. As empaths and people who may or may not have been codependent at some point in our lives, we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to label anyone a codependent. I don't like that label. But I would say this. First of all, we have to recognize that these things are going to be a little bit uncomfortable. Setting boundaries is going to be uncomfortable for us because we started off not doing that. A lot of us have been people pleasers. A lot of us have spent our whole lives feeling like, what if somebody doesn't like the choice I make? And this is what it all comes down to. I first wrote about this 13 years ago. I wrote a post on my blog back then that was called How to Stop Caring What Other People Think Without Looking Like a Huge Jerk. And I think this is what it comes down to. I think when we're setting our boundaries, we have to stop caring what other people think. We don't have to be a huge jerk about it, though. What we have to do is we have to decide within ourselves, separately and independently of other people, these are the things that I will tolerate and these are the things that I will not tolerate. For example, in a relationship. In my relationship, the deal is you don't hit me or abuse me in any way, mentally, physically, or otherwise. You don't hurt my children in any way, and you don't cheat on me. Those three things, I walk away, no discussion. You know what you did. Anything else we can talk about and try to get through. I'm not saying that I will tolerate anything else. I'm just saying those three things are definitely deal breakers for me. How did I set those boundaries? I made it very clear to my husband when I first met him many years ago that this is what the deal was, and these were my deal breakers. He also made clear his deal breakers, which conveniently enough were the same as mine. So that worked out really well for both of us. How do you practice setting boundaries? Start small. Start with someone in your life who is maybe a little kinder to you, or a stranger. You know what I mean? Start with someone who isn't as important or significant to you if necessary. For example, if you have a job and your boss says, hey, can you work on Saturday? But you've already made plans to go out of town on Saturday and your boss knew it. And you can say, well, I'm going out of town tomorrow night, Friday night, whatever, and I won't be back until Monday. So unfortunately, I can't work on Saturday. Or maybe you could say, or I can't work on Saturday in the office, but I can dial in from wherever I'm going to be if necessary. You know what I mean? But set your boundaries, whatever those are, one at a time. Now I think it's time to give you a little homework. So grab your pen, grab your pencil, grab your paper, because it's time to read the cards. As usual, we're beginning with our dialectical behavior therapy deck. And this will be linked in the description below if you want to get your own copy, but it's not necessary because I will share these with you each and every day until I'm through the whole deck. And today's card is a mindfulness skill, and it's about using mindful breathing. It says, use mindful breathing. Sit quietly and breathe, allowing your abdomen to expand and collapse like a balloon. Breathe in slowly, counting 1, 2, 3. Then exhale slowly, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Find a slow, natural rhythm. Let go of thoughts. Allow your body and mind to relax. Practice today for 5 minutes. That's a good one. Mindful breathing. So today's affirmation will be pulled, as usual, from the Gabrielle Bernstein Super Attractor deck. And this also is linked in the comments below, but again, you don't have to buy it because I'm going to share each and every card with you over the next several weeks. Today's affirmation is, directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. I love it. Directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. Write it down. This is your affirmation for today. This brings me to the question of the day. The question of the day is, have you been your own self-advocate, and how did that go for you? Tell me about your experiences doing that. And if you haven't been your own self-advocate, tell me, are you thinking about becoming your own self-advocate now? Are you ready to learn how to stand up for yourself? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notifications to be notified of new videos as I post them, or you can send a text that says notify me to 33222, all one word, notify me to 33222 if you would like to have me text you each time I post a new video. And if you want to know when I'm going live each time, you can text Angie Live, all one word, to the same number, 33222. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon.